In California, they know all about big. 40 million people, the world's 6th largest economy, and a booming marijuana business.
Do you like that one?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
California legalized for adults this year, and already the medicinal and recreational market is worth $7.5 billion Kiwi and rising.
So it's going to be 5 milligrams per ball. So you can totally microdose yourself.
If my child was sick, if he had epilepsy, if he had autism, I would have no problem giving him cannabis. I understand the science behind the condition.
But in New Zealand, the jury's still out. Are states like California showing us how it could be done?
This industry could be a billion-dollar industry, and to actually help people in New Zealand who are suffering.
Last week, we met Tanya Black.
So I get these spasms anytime, like when I'm driving, any time of the day, several times a day. And it's just really annoying. It gets painful if they go on and on for a while.
She wants off her heavy-duty pain and spasm meds. She wants to try medicinal cannabis. But what a mission.
I've sort of been told by some people that you are able to get medicinal cannabis in New Zealand. You know, it's not funded. I feel like this could be a solution, but just trying to find out how I even get to try something.
And we met Sam and Brenda Bartels and little Anya. She has a rare form of epilepsy. She can't feed orally and is racked by uncontrollable seizures.
When Anya has seizures, she'll turn quite blue and stop breathing for about 30 seconds, and then she starts shaking.
It is always stressful. You just have to pick her up, give her a cuddle, make sure she can dribble because she can't control her secretions and things. I've just got some medications in the fridge here.
Specialists have prescribed a cocktail of drugs to help, but the side effects have been devastating. So the Bartels began researching an alternative.
There was children in America that had been started on medicinal cannabis oils, and just the changes that were seen in those children just gave us hope. We can get the oil, which is 100% CBD, and I think it's about $600 for a bottle. And at the starting dose for Anya, that should last us maybe 3 months. But if we have to increase that dose, then we're probably looking at more like a bottle a month.
It's catch-22. 2 medicinal cannabis products are now legally available in New Zealand, but for those who need it most, cost is keeping it out of reach.
This Tilray I use is 10-10 THC CBD, equal parts, and grapeseed oil. That's all it is. And I use 3 to 4 mils a day, so it lasts just over a month. I've spent over $28,000 on medicine. I can't afford it.
There are around 400 chemicals in cannabis. It's complex. The primary ingredient is tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC. This is the psychoactive that gets you stoned. CBD, or cannabidiol, is non-psychoactive. It doesn't get you high. The medical issue over cannabis is that so far there have been minimal human clinical trials. That's where scientists establish what a drug does, how much a patient should take, and what the side effects are.
So I've just got this email saying that they do not support or endorse the use of medicinal cannabis. It's pretty annoying, really. These are the people that have prescribed me fentanyl, which is 10 times stronger than heroin, but they won't support medicinal cannabis.
In California and a number of other states, accessing medicinal and recreational cannabis is relatively easy and relatively cheap from regulated dispensaries like this.
So this one's going to have 25 milligrams of THC and 25 milligrams of CBD. This is going to be really good for pain. It's very good to use when you have a lot of aches, arthritis.
Here in California, what we're seeing is people getting better, people getting off pharmaceuticals that either aren't helping or are toxic for them, people getting off opiates.
Dr. Bonnie Goldstein is a pediatric physician. She's also a cannabis physician and an author on the subject.
Easily, I've seen over 10,000 patients in the last 10 years and about over 500 children, very ill children, children with terrible conditions. The longest I have a patient on cannabis, a child, is 5 years. And so far, we see no untoward effects. We are actually seeing children who are becoming more alert, more aware, instead of regression of the brain due to prolonged seizures.
Jaden's having a seizure at 5:15 in the morning. He's been doing this for about 10 minutes now.
Jaden used to have about 1,000 twitches a day, myoclonic seizures, and you have grand mal, the really hard ones, when you just sit there into a seizure and you can barely breathe for about an hour to an hour and a half.
Jason is Jaden's father. His son lives with Dravet syndrome, an extreme form of epilepsy that brings on cripplingly long seizures.
He's still having little twitches from him after he just had the grand mal. And before that, he had tonic-clonic for about 10 minutes.
Jaden's day looked like, right when he woke up, he'd go into a seizure. He'd go in and out of one, a grand mal. I'd shove 10 pills down his throat. About an hour later, he'd start passing out from all the pills that were sedating his brain, so he'd fall back asleep.
Traditional meds didn't work for Jaden.
He's constipated from the Depakote. Then I give him a suppository. He goes into a seizure right when I give him a suppository. And these medicines are supposed to help him.
I've never seen one like this. I've seen him twitch and have a seizure, but not a grand mal while he's sleeping like that. Shimitala, Jaden, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, bud. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
So, in desperation, his father turned to help from a marijuana dispensary.
So I went to a store and got a bottle of CBD. Back then, they didn't have the ratios tested, the milligrams, nothing. This was May of 2011. And I gave it to him, and that was the first day my son went seizure-free in 4.5 years. So it was one of the best days of our whole entire life.
Come on, Jaden. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Every day's a new accomplishment. Good job, Jaden. Yeah, Jaden. Good job. You're being a little boy again. I love you, little buddy.
Not in a million years I thought I could put Jaden on a plane. We flew from San Francisco. We woke up early in the morning and flew to New Orleans on a plane for 5 hours, time change. I thought it would cause a reaction with his medicine. I thought something would happen. Nothing. We went to New Orleans. We were up to like 1 o'clock at night walking. It was Halloween, walking down Bourbon Street. That's like, I couldn't picture that in a million years.
Well, we have to remember that for some people who have struggled with illness for a long time, they use cannabis and it's their medicine. It helped them. They want to shout from the rooftops. They feel that it's a miracle, and it's not a miracle. It's just the way that plant's interacting with the chemicals in their body. There can be kind of a little placebo, oh, I feel better, but at the same time, it's very hard to placebo when you're watching a child having seizures.
Can Daddy get a kiss? I love you. Who? You. I love you.
You?
You. Yeah, you.
Hello.
I love you. You're beautiful.
We have something called the endocannabinoid system. This is a system in our brain that regulates the chemical messages that are being sent, meaning the neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, these chemicals that we know about, send messages to our brain to tell our brain what to do. It's our computer. So we've had suspicion since early of the last decade, around 2002, 2003, that there's an imbalance in this system in children that have autism, seizures, other types of behavioral issues. Would you leave a child unregulated? We can't do that. How do we replace that chemical? Well, it turns out that chemical called anandamide that's missing is almost identical to THC that's in the cannabis plant.
Jason has now gone into business producing the CBD formula he says works so well for Jaden and a host of other products.
So this is where we carry our refrigerated products. Most of them are edibles. Corova is one of the #1 brands in California. It's been for a while. They have the amount of THCs in each product. It tells you 10 milligrams per dose, so it teaches you how to use it. We want to use this safely. It's all about dosing and science to it now. It's not just cannabis or marijuana. It's medicine. And just like you go to a doctor and you take 2 pills or you could take 20, it kind of tells you how to dose. In here we have butter. We have all different types of edibles, kombucha, drinks. These drinks are amazing, especially for sleep, relaxation, and it actually even gives you the giggles. It makes you feel good. So these are our vape pens. These are our #1 sellers in California right now. It makes it really quick and easy to use. A lot of older people use them. They like them. They're very easy, especially people that have families that don't want that smell on them, or they have children that want to take the occasional puff to relax at night or something like that. Here's a lot of our seniors love this area. It's a lot of lotions, bath bombs. I know it sounds crazy, but face serum. We have people that are using our face serum. It's amazing. It takes away wrinkles, but not just that. It keeps your face nice and good with collagen and everything. It's really nice.
Which is going to be heavy indica.
The patients that you see, though, are not your typical pot guys. They're people that come there for medicine.
ADHD, Lyme disease, arthritis, and anxiety.
They're coming there for education. They're coming there to understand and learn how it works, why it works, and how to dose. That's why we open.
We also have our CBD tincture that should de-inflame the area that you're having problems with.
Some 400 people visit his Modesto outlet every day.
So I've kind of gone through a journey to end up in medicinal cannabis. I suffered from depression and anxiety, and they treated me with pharmaceutical medications, and those had terrible side effects that lasted for a long time. And I got off of the pharmaceutical medication and started using cannabis to treat my anxiety and depression, and it's a miracle.
When you look at the big picture here, it's less expensive than the pharmaceuticals that they have out there, and it's better for your body. So until they can prove otherwise, this is the direction of medication that we want to go.
No, I'll take these 2 hybrids.
You take those 2?
Yes. I was a career firefighter, and when I retired, I had some anxiety. I was having trouble just finding a little bit of, an even place. And you know what? It works really good. And plus, it's legal now. It's wonderful. More people should do this, and they should drink. In my career as a firefighter, alcohol destroyed more families, auto accidents.
Well, I have serious back pain and anxiety issues that normal medication doesn't usually help me with. I don't want to take pills. I want to stay as natural as I can, and I get more aid with with cannabis than I do with pills that are just going to do damage to my, internal organs.
Thank you so much. I will definitely be back. Make sure it stays cold until you get home. How to refrigerate these?
Family dinner. Hi, that's exactly one of them.
So in my adult population, the #1 condition that I see is pain, anxiety, depression. And then the very next is poor sleep. And remember, when you're not sleeping well, it aggravates everything else. But to me, I would try the non-toxic, safe medicine first before a pharmaceutical that has known, documented side effects that can be toxic and possibly irreversible.
While cannabis is still illegal in many states, opioids are not, and overprescription has resulted in an epidemic. There are no recorded deaths from cannabis overdose, but alcohol? Well, in New Zealand, we have an estimated 600 to 1,000 related deaths every year. And as for opioid abuse, here in the US, it's off the scale.
The numbers here in the United States show that somewhere between 90 to 100 people die every day from the opioid crisis. But it's not just opioids. It also is the drugs in the category benzodiazepines. These are the drugs like Valium and these types of drugs that treat anxiety. Very addictive and oftentimes combined with opiates. And this is a death sentence for patients. I will tell you right now, if one of my cannabis patients gets off opiates and abuses the heck out of cannabis, their family will not have to go to the morgue to identify them.
My name is Jerry Zuniga. I was in the United States Marine Corps from 2005 to 2013 as an infantry Marine. I was deployed twice to Iraq, Fallujah, Iraq, and then once to Helmand Province, Afghanistan.
Jerry's now unemployed. He battles with extreme PTSD from his wartime experiences.
In Iraq, the first day, first patrol, we got blown up. Me particularly, a pressure plate, and that set the tone for the entire deployment. And the crazy thing is that I got hit about 8 times in Iraq in my vehicle, and for some reason, every time I was okay, and someone else was always worse.
Hey, don't show it! Tell Gucci and Schaefer to move back this way! You're way low. Stay low, we gotta cover them. You'll be alright, you'll be okay. Hold on. Hey, 3 Bravo, if you can get with 3, I have a casualty at my pod, about 200 meters from Red Dog, over.
Jerry was discharged in 2013, but he's still reliving it every night.
There was just a point in my life when, you know, I had my family sleeping in the bed, all of them, and I would sleep on the floor with all the doors locked and everything closed, and I'd fucking be walking from my recliner to that end of the room, just watching because I would hear noises. I wasn't getting no sleep. I was up all night. I was having nightmares. I couldn't sleep in the bed anymore because I was drenching it with my sweat. Yeah, everywhere. I was crying everywhere. You know, I was driving by myself and I fucking was sobbing like a little girl. You know, I'm in the shower and I'm on my fucking knees crying. My family's asleep and I'm crying, you know?
Jerry was prescribed drugs, lots of them.
I was on benzos, I was on somas, I was on baclofen.
But the drugs haven't helped him or others in his platoon.
So there's been 3 Marines, but Dino was probably Dino was the closest Marine I've lost. So Dino, he would always, I would always scream, Dino! And then he would scream, yo, Zero! Fucking, he would call me Z, and then just turn it into Zero. But the thing is, like, before Dino took his life, he was calling me a lot, and I was going through my shit, and I wasn't answering.
Hundreds of US war veterans take their lives every year.
We don't even know what the real number is. We're taking lives at the cyclic rate, man. Like, I was close, you know, to taking my own life. Like, there's no way I don't understand how this is happening. I don't understand why so many veterans are feeling the way I'm feeling. Or I was feeling.
Jerry has found that medicinal cannabis is doing what the drugs couldn't.
It just calms me down. My mind was racing, or it races so much with so many thoughts that the sativa, all it does is it stabilizes my mind so that all my thoughts are aligned. I can pick and choose now. I'm functional. I tell people now, man, medical cannabis can save your life. Freaking, if you find the right strain, the right ratio that works for you, it can mean a world of difference. I know that people take their pills every day. I need my medical cannabis every day.
Jerry and his family are finding purpose in outreach to other veterans who are suffering. Part of that, he says, is sharing the benefits of pharmaceutical-grade cannabis. This is a highly secure indoor grow facility in Nevada.
Nevada has a state-of-the-art facility, and Canara LV is very well renowned for their testing and their ability to bring a clean, safe product to the market. And the way that Nevada has adopted their legislation is very similar to what I hope to see in New Zealand.
We met Matt last week in Auckland. He's part of the Kiwi US consortium that goes by the name of Helios and is looking to convert a massive Auckland warehouse from this to this.
These are environmentally clean rooms. So when you enter the facility, you have to put on a full cap and gown in order to enter the cultivation space. Once you enter the cultivation space, there's air handlers and air filtration systems that keep the plant safe and secure from any kind of microbials or outside pesticides or pests. I really want to set up an R&D program dedicated to my father, who passed away 2 years ago due to stage 4 prostate cancer. After seeing the effects that it did for him and seeing the benefits of medicinal cannabis, it really makes me a firm believer in the medical processes and some of the formulations that can be created off of this.
Each plant is barcoded, so customers can track their origin from seed to retail.
What do we have here today?
So we do have a lot of different products. We have shatter, we have sauce, we have rosin, we also have crumble, and also a lot of different strains. Okay, so this is going to be one of our vet CBD products. It's going to be something fun for your pet. It's going to be great for them for pain, arthritis, anxiety, seizures, inflammation.
It would be a blessing to see a facility like this in New Zealand because it's bringing all of the technology that's been developed over the years in the States and bringing it to New Zealand. So there is no pitfalls, there is no safety measures or protocols that you'd have to jump through.
It's just like any other drug that you prescribe, except I feel a lot safer. The problem with the medical community is, one, we're all just people too, like everybody else, so we grow up in the same environment being told cannabis is bad. And one of the biggest things I tried to share was that the fear is unfounded. I do this every day. I'm a very conservative physician. I can only go by my experience and what I see. In the first few months that I was seeing patients way back a decade ago, I had my own skepticism. But when you hear the same story over and over, the same results, doc, I got off my pills, I'm sleeping better, I'm a better husband, I'm able to spend time with my children and not be in pain or not be cranky, or my mother's getting out of bed for the first time and walking around the house using cannabis. You hear these stories, you cannot ignore what people are telling you.
In Hamilton, all Sam and Brenda Bartels want is for their voice to be heard.
It is frustrating. I really feel like it could work for Anya, and I just think we should be allowed the opportunity to try it. There's been times where they've thought that Anya might not make it through some of her hospital admissions, and like as a last line of defence, they still won't let us try it.
Doctors can prescribe these benzodiazepines and opiates, and these medications do have their place, but they will come with side effects. And as far as we know, cannabis, the only side effect you're going to have is if you give some THC, there might be a little bit of a high out of it. But that compared to suppression of breathing, possible death, eye issues, the list goes on. Well, why can't we just try medicinal cannabis?
To be honest, we've tried to fight for a few things for our girls. I tried really hard with Leah, and found that no one listened, and we didn't really get anywhere with some of the things we tried. So I've left this to Sam mostly now. So I've just find the whole thing quite disillusioning.
Don't get in the way of a mom and dad who have a sick kid. Don't get in the way of a daughter of an elderly person who is struggling, because it's about their quality of life of their loved one.
The Health Select Committee is due to report back by the end of this month with a clearer idea of who can access medicinal cannabis, how, and whether startups like Helios will get off the ground.
My advice for a country who's starting up a framework is to restrict it too tightly, takes this many people who might benefit and narrows it down to this. And that's just not okay. We see that here in some states. To say CBD only, then again, takes this many people that might benefit and restricts it down to this. Either do it or don't do it. Don't pick and choose.
This story began with Tanya Black looking into medicinal cannabis as an alternative therapy to hardcore pharmaceutical treatment. In the end, it all comes down to cost.
It looks like ACC will stump up the $500 I need for another consultation with a specialist. But that's still no guarantee that they're going to prescribe the medicinal cannabis. And I've been turned down once before, but at least it's one step closer. For me, this has been a drawn-out, frustrating, and really confusing process. And if it's been like that for me, I can't help thinking about the people and the families out there who really need this. I really do hope there's a law change so all Kiwis can have the access and the option of medicinal cannabis.
Hey. Good?
This month, the Bartels finally got ministerial approval for medicinal cannabis. But just when they did, little Anya lost her battle and passed away.
Attitude was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.